Ladies and gentlemen, One Piece chapter 1166 is out.
Nice.
Bro, can you actually believe the God Valley flashback is over? Now, Rox may have died, but his will lives on. Hey guys, and welcome back to the One Piece Club, which I want to make the go-to place for One Piece fans on the internet. So please help me achieve this goal, just like Luffy has his Pirate King dream. Help me achieve my goal by hitting the subscribe button and the like button. So, this chapter was dedicated to the aftermath of the God Valley flashback, or the God Valley incident, and how the fate of each major character changed after this incident. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say what shaped the great age of piracy wasn't Roger finding the One Piece, but God Valley. Those pirates started their journey to find the One Piece, hit a huge wall that represents a system of strong pirates. Most of them were here at God Valley, so the real starting point of this era was the moment Rox lost. Nah, guys. Forget about the Shaki issues. Forget about Shaki getting kidnapped. But there was another guy who was greatly affected, and Oda is now using him to move us back from the flashback to the Elbaf arc again. But before we talk about him, let's not forget our ritual in the God Valley chapter reviews. Dragon was thrown into jail, but Garp gave him the keys to leave. Normally, he'd be a dead man, but he's Garp's son, so yeah, privileges. But that does not mean he wasn't prepared to die. This very short conversation is very interesting because we didn't see Garp blaming or scolding Dragon for anything. And this is understandable since Garp knows as well that what Dragon did was justified. Look, Garp is an enigma. So you must watch this video about Garp to understand him a little more. Here, he seems like he did something unforgettable to his son. He forced his ideals onto him and made him a Marine only to witness the true nature of the world government. Basically, Garp didn't have to say anything back to Dragon, but it still hurts his feelings that as a result of this, his son hates him now. I really hope we see a moment in the future they apologize to each other. So Roger and Garp's attacks didn't kill Rox, which is weird. Like, what kind of body must you have to not die because of this? It at least cancels Domi Reversi, right? From Emu, which is actually good to know. Let's make it simple and say that a ridiculous amount of Haki can cancel Domi Reversi and their other powers. I mean, Emu, the Five Elders, and the Holy Knights. Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki could cancel their transformations as well. Davy D. Sebek's last words were few, but they were the embodiment of a proud man with a strong will of D. And I wish Roger and Garp could hear them. At least they didn't get killed by these three frauds. We already knew that St. Summers was a fraud, but Garling turned out to be the most overrated fraud I have ever seen in One Piece. I remember one day I was saying, right, wow, this guy looks so cool and he was going to be so strong.
Stop the cap.
He probably fought Rox as well. Well, he did and got his ass handed to him through that. But this is so bad, man. This is bad because his only achievement in God Valley was racking up points by killing innocent people. Let's forget about him and go back to Roger and Garp, okay? Because man, this is so sad. I think that Oda has just forgotten about him at this point. Last time I speculated about who would save Garp and said it will probably be Bogart. But look at this. It's Gabon and Rayleigh. Garp owes his life to Gabon and wow. That is a fun fact that makes Garp's relationship with the Roger pirates seem even more deeper. But it's not what we wanted to see. And that was the end of God Valley. Like literally that is the end. The island got destroyed without the Mother Flame, without a Buster Call, without any weapons. Well, they had to shoot cannons at the end, but still, this is beyond madness. This is Dragon B tier stuff, right? We've seen cases where the surface of the island got destroyed, but this is a new level for us. This shape reminds me of Enya's lobby, so I wonder, right? I wonder how the island that was there got destroyed. And this is also the end of the God Valley incident, where the fates and the paths of many people or pirates crossed and became intertwined. The most important part was Roger and Garp's fates. I've been talking about this since chapter 1159, about how Rox played a huge role in transforming Roger and Garp. And I'm really happy to see that this actually happened and how they both inherited his will. It was thanks to Rox that Roger dedicated his life to knowing the truth about this world. It was thanks to Rox that Garp's goal became clearer. The world government is evil, yes, that's true, but he can't just lead them to their deaths with a revolution. He also probably worked to not allow Emu and the Celestial Dragons to target any other countries while he was in there. I mean, the low-ranked Marines at the bottom. I'm not gonna get into the details about Garp here, so please make sure to watch my video when it gets uploaded. But it's worth talking a little about Garp and Sengoku's conversation. For now, right, let's call Sengoku a hypocrite. The situation got even worse when he became a fleet admiral. So even after reaching the top of the ladder, he didn't change anything. Or that's how at least we see it based on the information we have. Last but not least, Shanks' journey started with a little treasure box. I'm dying to know how they met Buggy. Like, he's the same age as Shanks, and he was very close to the crew. So he must have joined a few years after the incident, right? Just like his father, Loki really loved Rox, and he was his role model. I've seen this scene before, right? And right after the guy who was called Nika got smashed into a volcano. Next time, if you see somebody being called Nika or Joy Boy, like, that is a death flag. No doubt about it. That is a death flag. Rox's plan was something like this. Gather strong people, get Harald and Elbaf on his side, make Harald wake up the Galalia giants, and finally use these forces to become the king of the world. I saw in this chapter spoilers that Rox said that he wanted to change this world, but that's wrong. This would have been a huge statement. We know that Rox wanted to fulfill Davy Jones's promise, but beyond that, we know nothing about why he wanted to become the king of the world. Now, after this flashback, we can say without hesitation that Rox wasn't a superficial villain. Meaning, right, he wasn't a pirate who just sought power, money, and authority. He was a very bad guy, let's be honest, but he was a badass. We can both love Rox and accept the fate that he was a villain just like Harald. Harald was the saddest after hearing about Rox's death. And there's an issue here though. I wish Oda had spent a little more time developing Rox and Harald's relationship. That way we can understand Harald's emotions and the weight of his decision. He regretted the decision to not help his best friend and let him die, so that made his resolve much, much stronger. If he can't help his friend nor join the world government, right, what was the point of all this? It's this that I want to understand much better, which could only happen if we got to see more dynamics between the two. For the most part, it was just, hey Harald, join me, and basically Harald saying, shut up Rox, I'm joining the world government, right? Regardless, it was obvious that Harald is deeply affected. Ask that little giant over there. Poor guy got his face smashed. You know what I hate the most about people in One Piece? Is the fact that they are worse than in real life. They love rumors and propaganda like chocolate. They overreact to everything, yet do nothing. Everything they're told is the truth, even if they see someone dying and asking for help. The world government is a very bad organization, and I've been saying this for years on my old channel. But what held them maintain control over the world for so long was this. But there was an exception, of course, and Luffy was very lucky, or destined, I should say, to meet most of those exceptions. Harold's breakdown here tells another thing, right? It seems that the giants may have committed some serious crimes 1,000 years ago, meaning that before the Void Century, Elbaf was an absolute nightmare for the world. But to be honest, I still can't find the link. I can't make the connection. You see, to me, it contradicts what we know. If Elbaf, right, truly believed in Nika as a legend, then there is absolutely no way that they were enemies. So that leads to assuming the same relationship between Joy Boy and the Ancient Kingdom. If they were allies, it means that the world government was their enemy, and for the past 800 years, they kept attacking them. So this means that either that Harold's understanding of history was wrong and he doesn't know the truth, or we don't have enough information yet. It's really complicated here because humans and the world government, for us, are not the same. For One Piece characters, they're the same. So this makes the whole thing confusing, especially when you see Harald doing this. Like, I don't have time for criticizing Harald, so I'll leave you guys to do that. But don't forget that you have to try to understand him first. It's not as if he knows the full truth behind the world government. And for him, giants have been as evil as them. No, probably even more. The terror giants brought to humans was enormous in Harald's eyes, so don't expect him to judge the world government on moral issues. He doesn't have the right to do so. The sins he and the other giants have committed are way too heavy. Even if the world government is evil, he simply wants to bring peace to the people so they don't have to kill and steal anymore. But of course, that is a pipe dream, unfortunately. For Emu and the Celestial Dragons, the world government is not an organization for coexistence, but for dominance. Harald simply underestimated the darkness and the level of evil at Marijoa. In short, Harald was a good guy, not a saint. He at least had good intentions. What he lacked was knowledge and wisdom. I don't think the outcome of God Valley would have changed if he followed Rocks, but definitely joining the world government is not a good decision. Which brings us to another bad decision. Like, I simply don't understand this. Somebody please tell me what is going on in Emu's mind. Harald basically saved him the time and resources to conquer Elbaf. So why refuse the deal? Emu said Harald was easy to manipulate, but that's wrong. He was perfect. The guy came right to Emu's backyard, and I think we should wait for the next chapter to know what kind of decision Emu took. But obviously they refused. Elbaf did not join the world government. Also, the possibility of controlling Elbaf without having them join is out because of what is happening right now. If Elbaf was truly under their control, then killing Harald or sending Holy Knights in the current timeline doesn't make any sense. Even if we say that it was Shanks who liberated Elbaf from the world government, then that makes you look even more worse. Like, oh my god, I wish I had a villain as smart as Doflamingo instead of this Domi Reversi thing. But that's actually a good way to bring us back to the arc. The result of Harald's appeal will make us fully understand the motives of each character and hopefully push Hadrujan to become the MVP of this arc. I really want to see him inherit his father's will and find a way to overcome Domi Reversi, Emu's Domi Reversi. I even expect more from Loki, so please, Oda, please don't make this short. And it's better to flesh out character development moments instead of the trivial stuff. But before I go, make sure to subscribe, comment, hit the like button because I want to see you guys at the Discord. I appreciate you guys. But before I go, I'm looking forward to the story to what exactly Loki tells Hadrudan about how King Harald died. I want to see him actually become a good brother to Loki. Them get connected and become brothers. The goal that King Harald had for Elbaf. Both of the brothers working together to liberate Elbaf and to help achieve Luffy's dream in achieving and finding the One Piece. But anyway, love you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.